My name is Jasmine. I'm an illustrator working on a medieval comic. Can't have that. This is how we're starting? I should have come prepared with the snackies. How dare I have a drink and not share? Welcome to my channel. Happy New Year. At the beginning of every year, I go over what my goals are going to be for that next year. I've got kombucha. If it were actual champagne, I wouldn't make it through most of this video. I'll try to make this quick. Before I can share with you what my goals are going to be for this year, I figured we should do a quick recap of how 2024 went for me. If you're not new to my channel, you will already have known that I worked really hard on a pitch for my medieval comic, and then I pitched it to agents, and then by March I acquired an agent, and in July we went on submission to publishing companies. So that's where I'm at currently, and that shall continue into this year. Am I worried? So far I've been told that it's been a little slow in the publishing industry, so I can't quite despair yet. So that was a huge milestone. I'm really proud of myself for having accomplished that, and for the project. That's a huge win for the project. We're not quite there to publishing, but it's a big step. And it's also highly validating that at least we were able to get an agent. So cheers to that. That was one of my major goals last year. Really putting myself out there with the comic. The other goal that I had was to draw chapter 3 and 4 of my medieval comic. How did that go? Well, currently I'm about to finish chapter 3. That goal really was not met at all last year, and that was because that whole pitch process took quite a long time. Not only did I have to create the pitch, which took a few months to make, but then I actually worked with my agent making a specific version for publishing companies, and that took quite a few months too. So was I devastated that I didn't meet my drawing goals? It's fine. I feel like the pitch is much more important than that. So in terms of drawing the chapters for the comic, those are my goals for this year. Drawing chapter 3, 4, and 5. Like, I really should have that as a goal. If nothing else pops up, that's like the ideal goal. My other goal was to finish the first draft of my fantasy romance story. I did manage to write about like 80% of it. Especially in a few months, I was able to add thousands of words into the draft, but because NaNoWriMo has been canceled, I really didn't let myself work on the story. So that is pretty much on the back burner. My medieval comic is taking all of my time now, as I think it should, so my writing is gonna probably not be as important this year. And my last big goal for last year was to make it a habit to do drawing studies. So I converted my Hobonichi cousin planner into a studies sketchbook. I'll actually be showing you a flip through of it in the next coming video. There were a few months that I did not really do much studying, so a B+, I think. Those were my goals for last year, and the last thing I wanted to go over was my stats. So in total, 19 comic pages drawn, 84 Patreon posts posted, and 21 videos posted on YouTube, plus 3 exclusively on Patreon, which would total to 24 videos. I just wanted to share those stats because that's interesting. For this year, it's gonna be even more simplified than that because my medieval comic is going to take even more of my time. I'm not going to have any writing goals. I will keep a drawing practice. As they say, when you make goals, you should try to put some numbers to them. And I really hesitate to do that because if I do, I'll probably won't meet it and it won't make me feel good. So we're going to keep the drawing practice as vague as possible. As I mentioned earlier about what chapters I'm going to focus on this year, I'm about to finish chapter 3 and I do want to do chapter 4 and 5. Now chapter 5 is a pretty intense chapter, so I don't know if I'll be able to finish it this year, but perhaps I can say, let's start it this year. Like thumbnailing and maybe a couple of pages done. I think that's much more reasonable. Chapter 3 is going to semi-conclude the intense training session that my main character Alice is undergoing. In Chapter 4, there'll be a few more scenes of training, but we're pretty much wrapping up her training era. We're gonna be introduced to a few more side characters, set up the last bits of other story arcs that float in the story. Now chapter 5 is when we actually see the knights go out on an adventure and face some mercenaries. So I'm really excited to finally like getting into the fun and games of the story with Alice and the knights. I know that that's what readers want. They want to see the action and the adventure, but I can't give them that until we set up who these characters are and the setting and like the little bits of side plots that exist. They're there to like enrich the story. The setup has to happen, unfortunately. And I'm almost done. You wanna go to your perch? Let's go to your perch. Well, since I'm up already, that last goal about the drawing studies, instead of using the Hobonichi planner, I kind of got burnt out by it. I'm gonna put that to the side and pick it up probably another year. I want to finish this sketchbook with my study. I've been using it exclusively to do my art studies, and I'm about halfway done with it. It would be nice if I made it a goal this year to complete it. I guess I do kind of have a solid goal when it comes to the drawing. It'll be to finish this. Those were my goals for this year, and so there you go. I'm mostly excited to continue to develop my comic, and we'll see what happens with my submission. All updates on that, I do share them on Patreon. If you want to follow pretty closely any updates, definitely join my Patreon. It's only $1 a month, and you get to access the 84 posts that I created last year and tons more from previous years. You get to see all the pages that I draw, any updates about my life, I post them there, and I even share exclusive vlogs and videos. That's where I hang out the most, and of course here on YouTube. I would love to hear what goals you got, if you've simplified them like me, or you feel pretty confident in having some lofty ones. Cheers to a new year, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!